Hello, kindergarten friends. Mr. Raymond is here, and we're going to do a measurement game. So just to remind you, we have learned about length and height. We've learned about weight, and we've learned about capacity, or we also call that volume. So we're going to do a guessing game. You know, I love guessing games. We're going to figure out when we compare two items to see what might be longer or shorter or taller, what's heavier and lighter, and what is something that would hold more or hold less. All right, so we're going to start with length. So let's put two objects on the screen, and we'll figure out what do we think is longer. Point if you think a worm is longer or if a snake is longer. So we're talking about longer, not shorter. Which one is longer, a worm or a snake? And point to your answer, and in 3, 2, 1. Are you pointing at the snake? The snake is longer. If you put them right beside each other, a snake would be longer than a worm. Very good. All right. Now, what would be shorter, a worm or a caterpillar? Which would be shorter? Not longer, which would be shorter, a worm or a caterpillar? Point to your guess, and in 3, 2, 1. Are you pointing at the caterpillar? If we put them starting at the same point, a worm beside a caterpillar, the caterpillar would be shorter. Very good. So now let's move on to taller and shorter. So let's put a house on the screen. Some of us live in houses. I live in an apartment. Some people live in apartment buildings. I live in an apartment in a house, so I'm kind of both. But let's see if we put a house beside a skyscraper. What would be taller, the house or the skyscraper? Taller, which would be reach higher into the sky. Taller. Would the house be taller or the skyscraper? Point to your answer, and in 3, 2, 1. Definitely the skyscraper. Skyscrapers, they're called that because they scrape the sky. They're so tall that they touch the sky. Nice. So let's keep that house there, and let's put an apartment building beside it. Apartment buildings, raise your hand if you live in an apartment building. Raise your hand if you live in a house. Nice. All right. So let's see which one is shorter. Or shorter, not taller, but shorter. So is a house shorter or is an apartment building shorter? And point to your answer in 3, 2, 1. The house is shorter than the apartment building in most cases. Yeah, in most cases, an apartment building is taller than the house. Great. All right, so those can go away. And now we're going to talk about weight. So weight, we use the words heavier than and lighter than. So I'll use my hands as kind of a scale. A scale, when we put things in a scale, kind of tells us what's heavier, would go closer to the floor, and lighter would go higher to the sky. Because if something's heavier, just like on a teeter-totter, it would go down to the ground. So let's put a kitten in one hand, and let's put, that wasn't fair. I think we know an elephant is heavier than a kitten. So that elephant can go away. Oh, that hurt my hand. All right, so let's put a kitten, and let's put a lamb. So what do you think is heavier, a kitten or a lamb? Kitten or a lamb? Which is heavier? Point to it in 3, 2, 1. A lamb is definitely heavier than a kitten. Some people might even think they're cuter, but we're not measuring cuteness here. All right, so let's keep the kitten there, and let's put an ant in this hand. We're going to figure out which is lighter, a kitten or an ant. What's lighter? What does not weigh as much as the other? What's easier to carry, a kitten or an ant? Point to your answer in 3, 2, 1. Did you choose the ant? The ant would definitely be lighter. If it was almost the same, the ant would have to be this big. And I would say, no thank you. Bye, ant. All right. Now we're going to talk about capacity. So when we talk about capacity, we're figuring out if we were to fill it with water, or if we were to fill it with some sort of liquid, or we could fill it with sand or rice, something that would fill it up and fill up all the holes. We would figure out which would hold more than and which would hold less than. So I know on nice hot summer days, a lot of you are hoping you might be able to swim in a swimming pool. So let's figure out if a swimming pool would hold less than a milk carton, or if the milk carton would hold less. Well, let's think milk. So if you were to pour milk in a swimming pool and in a milk carton, which would hold less? Which would not have as much milk? Point to your answer in 3, 2, 1. The milk carton would definitely hold less milk than a swimming pool. A swimming pool is huge, and a milk carton's just smaller, so it wouldn't hold as much. All right, so let's leave the swimming pool up there, just dreaming of swimming. All right, which would hold more? We're going to ask now. Which would hold more? Would it be a swimming pool or the ocean? The ocean. There's many oceans on this earth, and they are huge bodies of water. So would a swimming pool hold more, or would an ocean hold more? Point to your answer in 3, 2, 1. An ocean would definitely hold more water than a swimming pool. That's great. All right, that's the end of our game. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you again next week. Bye, everybody.